While the entire NBA was moving like a hurricane this offseason, one of the most successful franchises of the last decade remained completely still: the Golden State Warriors. The team that won 4 titles in 8 years became a running joke on social media. Where are the signings? Is Steve Kerr going to play by himself? Are the Warriors done? The comments multiplied with each passing day without any moves. But was this apparent inertia really what it seemed? Or was there a strategy behind San Francisco's deafening silence? To understand what was happening behind the scenes at Chase Center, we need to go back a few weeks. While teams like the Los Angeles Lakers, Boston Celtics, and Phoenix Suns were making daily headlines with blockbuster signings, the Warriors seemed to have vanished from the map. The fan base grew increasingly restless. After all, how could they compete in the brutal Western Conference without reinforcements? The answer began to surface when internal sources started leaking information about secret meetings. The front office wasn't asleep. They were being extremely selective. But selective about what? And more importantly, why? The first clue came when NBA insiders started noticing a strange pattern in the deals that did not happen. The Warriors had systematically turned down every single sign-and-trade proposal that came their way. Every single one. But the reason wasn't stubbornness or lack of interest. It was pure strategy. Jake Fisher of the Stein line was the first to connect the dots. Golden State has been rejecting sign-and-trade scenarios that would require them to give up specific players. But which players were those? And why were they so important? The answer was in the playing philosophy that made the Warriors a dynasty: three-point shooting. With Stephen Curry turning 36, the franchise knew it had to preserve its offensive identity. It wasn't enough to sign just any player. It had to be the right player. And that's when the bomb dropped. The Warriors' most important decision this offseason wasn't who they signed. It was who they refused to trade. Buddy Hield, the sharpshooter who arrived mid-season from the Philadelphia 76ers, had become untouchable in negotiations. Why? The numbers don't lie. 37% from 3 last season, with insane peaks of 50% in October and 41.4% in November. But even more than that, Hield has shot 39.7% from deep over his entire career. A genuine sniper. The front office understood that with Klay Thompson leaving for Dallas, losing Hield would be strategic suicide. Moses Moody also landed on the untouchables list for the same reason. The message was clear: mess with anyone but our shooters. But this conservative approach created massive pressure. If they weren't going to trade key pieces, how on earth were they going to improve the roster? The fan base doubled down. Social media caught fire. Warriors are complacent. They've lost the hunger to win. Curry deserves better. Steve Kerr needed answers. The front office needed to prove they were working. And that's when the second bomb of the offseason hit. After months of complete silence, the Warriors finally made their first official signing of the season. And they chose someone who perfectly represents the franchise's DNA, developing overlooked talent. Tavion Kinsey, just 25 years old and 6'5", signed an Exhibit 10 contract with Golden State. Who is this guy, you might be asking? And that question alone proves the Warriors' genius. Kinsey went undrafted in 2023, bounced around the G League, and had a brief stint with the Utah Jazz. Modest stats: 11.6 points, 3.4 rebounds per game in the development league. Doesn't sound like much, right? But here's the detail that changed everything: 54% shooting from the field and 38% from 3. This signing isn't really about Tavion Kinsey himself. It's about the Warriors returning to their roots, Remember how Draymond Green, Jordan Poole, and even Stephen Curry were all considered risky bets when they first arrived? The Warriors are doing what they've always done, finding hidden gems, holding on to proven shooters like Buddy Hield, and trusting the player development system that built their dynasty. The real story isn't that they signed an unknown from the G League. It's that while everyone else was making noise in the market, the Warriors were quietly laying the foundation for another season of surprises. Tavion Kinsey might just be another name you forget in 6 months. Or he could be the next Jordan Poole, discovered at the end of the bench and turned into a key piece of a championship team. One thing is certain, the Golden State Warriors weren't idle this offseason. They were being surgical. And when Steve Kerr breaks his silence and makes his moves, he rarely misses the target. The 2024-25 season is shaping up to be a big one. And now we know the Warriors aren't handing it over to anyone.